get Dr. Fish. What can we do with that that's cool?
Maybe command an army of billions in the ocean?
Oh, yeah.
Hi everyone, it's Charlie. This is going to be my Shazam post-credit scene video and mid-credit scene. If you have not seen the movie, careful for spoilers, but we will do a new round of the IMAX ticket giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave a Shazam comment on the video. Starting with the mid-credit scene, it begins with Mr. Mind coming to Dr. Sivana's prison, who's being held in captivity. He's been scribbling magical runes all over the walls, trying to find a way to escape. Mr. Mind starts laughing at him from the window. Dr. Sivana is confused. He didn't see him earlier in the movie when he was inside his little jar inside the Rock of Eternity, so Dr. Sivana has no idea who Mr. Mind is. Mr. Mind says, "You humans think there's only one way to get magic. There are many ways. We will have such fun. The 7 realms are about to be ours." If you've been reading the recent Shazam Rebirth comics, this may sound familiar to you because he's referring to the 7 realms of magic, also known as the Magic Lands of the Rebirth era comics. It's a brand new concept that will be part of the next Shazam movie and any potential future sequels because it's this really big place. Like, we talk about how the movie is riffing on Goonies, Stranger Things, and the It movie because there's a little bit of horror element to it. Think about the Magic Lands as sort of like a bigger version of the Upside Down. It's several different dimensions and realms within the multiverse. Mr. Mind's real name is Maxivermus Mind. He's an alien Venusian worm species who's bent on taking over all magic within the movie universe, but he has a comic book history that goes way back to the 1940s in the original Shazam comics. He's one of Shazam's oldest, biggest comic book villains. He's got powers of mind control, he's almost immune to Shazam's magical lightning, and he's extremely long-lived. He's capable of living for hundreds and hundreds of years, so that's why he goes way, way back with the Council of Magic and the Wizard Shazam. It's implied that when we first see him captive in his little jar in the Rock of Eternity when Dr. Sivana is a child at the beginning of the film, that he was captured by the Wizard Shazam a long time ago and had just been biding his time, waiting for a chance to escape, which Dr. Sivana provides him with later in the film when he returns and takes the 7 deadly sins. Originally, when Mr. Mind first debuted, he was part of a group called the Monster Society of Evil. I don't know if they're going to try and do that within the Shazam movies. They may have a reference to that in a future sequel, or maybe if they do a trilogy, they'll wait to the 3rd film to do some sort of villain team-up with Black Adam. The Monster Society of Evil is also one of the very first teams of supervillains in the comics, but Black Adam has never been a member of it before. It's typically made up of World War II era villains because that's sort of when those people debuted, but Mr. Mind originally debuted in Captain Marvel Adventures number 22 in 1943, so you're talking World War II era. Later in the 1980s, after Crisis on Infinite Earths, he did have a big team up with Dr. Sivana, but that time he was trying to plan a full-blown invasion of Earth. So obviously the movie Shazam is largely based on Jeff Johns' New 52 Shazam run and some of the Rebirth stuff a la Magic Lands that they tease at the end of the film. The Mr. Mind scenes that you see during the movie are directly taken from that New 52 run. He shows up right at the end of that after Dr. Sivana has been defeated. Even though a lot of different things happen, Black Adam is a big part of it, the actual story got changed quite a bit, but Mr. Mind was captive in a jar in the Rock of Eternity. At the end of that story, Black Adam has sort of subjugated Dr. Sivana, so he went off on his own, defeated. The Shazam family teamed up in a theme park to fight Black Adam. Then later there's a post-credit scene where Mr. Mind comes to Dr. Sivana and says, "Aha, we still have much to do." Then they had the big Rebirth reboot in DC Comics, and they just picked up that story where they left off with Dr. Sivana in Rebirth with Mr. Mind trying to conquer the Magic Lands. So you can actually read that story as it's happening right now before the Shazam sequel comes out, and you will have an idea for what they're going to do with the Magic Lands. But the Magic Lands are 7 different realms of reality where magic reigns supreme. So the Rock of Eternity is connected to all different realities, all planes of existence via magic. Like the wizard says at the beginning of the movie, it's the source of the river that is magic flowing into all different realms. So when the Shazam family is running through the Rock of Eternity trying to escape Dr. Sivana and they start randomly opening doors to different dimensions, that's sort of a teaser for that, just explaining that the Rock is connected to different dimensions via portals. But the only way into the Magic Lands is via a special train inside the Rock of Eternity. Because the story of the Magic Lands is still unfolding, we've only gotten a couple issues of that comic so far. We don't know everything about all 7 different realms, but we do have a map here that shows you where they are, where they're located. The first realm is called the Earthlands. It represents our main reality in the multiverse. The other 6 realms of the Magic Lands are located inside what they call the Sphere of the Gods within the layer of the multiverse. So you look at Grant Morrison's map of the multiverse here. The Sphere of the Gods, as the name implies, is where pretty much every type of god within the DC universe lives. The new gods, Darkseid, the Greek pantheon of the Wonder Woman movie, pretty much anybody that lives on that level of reality. The second realm is called the Funlands. It's a big, giant theme park dimension populated entirely by children and ruled over by someone called King Kid, who claims he's the secret 7th member of the Shazam family. So without giving away big spoilers about the Shazam Rebirth comic book storyline, that's actually happening right now. Like I said, you can read along with it if you want to. They'll probably finish that storyline before Shazam 2 comes out in a couple of years, so you have plenty time to catch up on that before the sequel gets here. But if you look at the map here, the other 5 realms that we have not traveled to yet in the comics are the Game Lands, the Dark Lands, the Monster Lands, the Wild Lands, and the Wozender Lands. By the time we get that Black Adam movie that they keep talking about, maybe we'll know about a couple of these other realms and we'll talk about them, because it does sound like they're heading towards a really big battle inside the Magic Lands, because it's such a huge space with so much mythology that there's no way that they're going to get to all these different realms in the Shazam sequel. If they really wanted to, they could do different Shazam sequels in each one of these different realms, but I don't think they plan to do 8 Shazam movies back to back. They'll probably just combine a lot of these in 1 or 2 movies. Moving on to the post-credits scene, this is just sort of the funny moment between Billy and Freddy talking about fish powers a la Aquaman, which we actually saw in an earlier trailer. That clip that I put at the beginning of this is from a Chinese promo that they released a month ago. It's funny that they would put the post-credits scene inside an actual trailer that they released to promote the movie. But it's just Freddy wearing his Jason Momoa Aquaman t-shirt and Billy after the events of the special lunch date with Superman and the rest of the Shazam family at the end of the film, continuing to test Billy for more different kinds of powers like the ones that the other members of the Justice League have. That's sort of their template for how they test him for powers earlier in the movie. Can he fly? Does he have heat vision like Superman? Super speed like Superman in The Flash? Billy looks at their goldfish and says, "I can't talk to fish, that's a stupid power. What kind of cool things could you possibly do with that?" And superhero fanboy Freddy tries to explain Aquaman's powers to him. I don't know, summoning an army of fish to fight for you, tugging on the shirt. Billy suddenly remembers Aquaman exists. Oh yeah, that is kind of cool. There is no Black Adam post-credit scene, even though they are currently still supposed to be making that solo movie with Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. It might wind up coming out sometime before Shazam 2, which we'll affectionately call Shazam 2 Into the Magic Lands. He does show up about 30 minutes into the movie when the wizard is explaining the history of the Council of Magic and the 7 Deadly Sins to Billy. They changed Black Adam's backstory just a little bit from the new 52 Shazam comics, but in the movie version of events, Black Adam released the 7 Deadly Sins on mankind as revenge for the death of his wife. Then the 7 Deadly Sins went on to kill the other members of the Council of Magic, and that's how they died. In the comics, it was Black Adam himself that killed all the other members, so we can speculate on what parts of that they would include in a Black Adam solo movie, but the rumor right now is that the story of that movie will be set during more modern times, maybe even present day, involving some members of the Justice Society. Maybe also based a little bit on the story of Black Adam the Dark Age. There's still a lot of speculation about what's going on with that because they haven't said anything recently, but The Rock is still under contract to be the Black Adam of the DC universe, but obviously a lot of creative has changed behind the scenes, and the Shazam movie seems like it's gonna blow up big time, so if they still decide to do a solo Black Adam movie next, maybe a small Shazam cameo somewhere in that, teasing a future crossover sequel where they eventually fight each other. But if they wind up deciding to just skip a Black Adam solo movie and put Black Adam in the Shazam sequel, early speculation, maybe he just pretends to ally himself with Dr. Sivana and Mr. Mind as they try to conquer the Magic Lands and secretly double-crosses them, becoming the big bad trying to take all the power of the Magic Lands for himself. So either way, whether or not Black Adam is in Shazam 2, you have Billy Batson and the Shazam family teaming up again to stop Mr. Mind and Dr. Sivana and protect all magic in all of realities, because that's actually one of Billy's jobs now as the successor to the wizard Shazam. Become the guardian of all magic, as he is meant to be the guardian of the Rock of Eternity, the source of all magic. So if you haven't seen the movie and you just watch this video because you want to find out what's going on at the end of the film, be sure to go see it. It's actually really good. I think it's going to be a big franchise for DC. Because of the way they developed the Shazam family and the different members, they could just do a self-contained Shazam universe, but obviously he has already met the Justice League because Superman comes to eat lunch with Freddie Freeman. Regardless of what happens with Superman and the other members of the Justice League in future movies, we know that Wonder Woman is going to be around, Aquaman is going to continue to be a big thing, so there'll be some of them that are still around. Regardless of when that next Justice League team-up movie happens, you'll probably continue to see funny references and cameos from other Justice League members in Shazam sequels. I'll be posting a whole bunch more Shazam videos this weekend, my full review, an Easter egg video. There were all kinds of Easter eggs and references. So I name a giveaway winner when I post my next video. While you wait for everything, you can click here to rewatch that Joker movie trailer. I explained the continuity and how that fits into the other DC movies. And you can click here for that brand new Avengers Endgame footage. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.